What's up? What's up? What is up? Yeah, that's right. I'm on tonight. Hope y'all are doing good. A musical interlude by our one and only Mr. Scott Schiaffo. Jamming it. You can find this and other great songs at scottschiaffo.com. Thank you, Scott, for your talent, for your friendship, but also for this music. Some great music. I love it. That's why I utilize it. You should too. If you have a film, you have a web series, you have some sort of project, as you can hear, the man is the boss. Scott Schiaffo. scottschiaffo.com. Check it out. Oh, and we got him on the actual feed today. Thank you for watching, sir. My best to you and Jewel. Good to see ya. So how's everybody doing? It's Friday night. I'm on your screen. Must be Friday night, 9 o'clock, right? Whew. It's been a busy week. Been a busy week for me. Started actually Sunday earlier this week. I was a guest on Rob Akampura's podcast show, The A Game with Rob Akampura, conversation with people achieving their goals. There we had myself, Mr. Nostrababus, Bob Senkowitz, and the host himself, Mr. Rob Akampura, as we discussed actually this weekend's upcoming Golden Globes. It's funny, I look at that picture that Ming Chen, at the Shared Universe Studios. I look like that painting of Jesus. It's weird. When I saw that, I was like, that's an odd looking photo, but there we are. So went from there, and then it just rolled into appearances on other people's podcasts, promoting tomorrow. We are the fine folks at Wizard World had us on last Saturday for their Q&A, free Q&A with the fans. It was me, Scott Schiaffo, and Marilyn Gigliotti. And then Dad came home. By that, I mean Kevin Smith and Jay Muse popped up, crashed it, so we speak. Those Zoom crashers, they crashed our Q&A, which was a great surprise to everybody there. And it was a lot of fun. They talked about some questions that were being put forth from both the host, the moderator, the great Victor Dandridge, hardest working man in comics, and also the fans themselves. So that was a lot of fun, a lot of energy going through that, because tonight is your last chance to get a hold of some autographed 8x10s, one-on-one virtual chats with us live, also recorded messages for yourself, and also virtual photo ops. So the orders are open until 11 p.m. this evening, West Coast time. That's 1 a.m. East Coast time. To get in there, go to wizardworldvirtual.com to check out all the swag that's available. Who knows? I could be speaking to one of y'all one-on-one tomorrow afternoon. So that'll be fun. Thank you to the fine folks at Wizard World Entertainment. So who do we have on the show tonight? Is you guys. I'm going to just have myself. We're going to just chat a bit and then open it up to some questions from the fine folks who've joined us this evening. We got Mr. CJ Cullen from his podcast, Cullen on Film. Joined him and Ming just last night, it was, I believe, where they were at the Alternate Ending Brewery in Aberdeen, New Jersey, which used to be the Strathmore Theaters there in Aberdeen, a 2-screen theater. I remember it as a kid. I used to see quite a few movies there. It was about 15, 20 minutes, not even, from my mom's house where I was living. So I'll talk about that in a little bit here because we were on that show. They had a movie night going on in at the brewery, and they just so happened to show Clerks. That's right. Right there. Here we go. They were showing Clerks, so why not have me on board? The downside was I wasn't there at a brewery to have the beer. They even made a beer themed via View Askew, like a Jay and Silent Bob kind of beer. And I wasn't there. But I was glad to be able to be part of the conversation. They say they're shipping me beer, but who are we kidding? I'm going to have to go down there. When I visit my mom, I'm going to have to go over there and pick up the stuff myself. They also had amazing food there. So, and these are some great people that are running it. So I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So we got on the stream here. Mr. Christopher Hewitt never misses a show. And not just this show. He was asking questions on that appearance last night as well. He's following me via the internet. It's crazy. Good to see you, Chris. Thank you for following along. Gem Girl 1975, you are runner-up on the Seeing Every Show, pretty much. I love it. I love it. Scott Schaffo, of course, brought us that musical interlude and much, much more. Thank you again for joining. Libby McDermott, thank you so much. Libby also loves Scott's music as well. Of course, who doesn't? Mr. Anthony Fraschetti, good to see you, sir. Anybody up there in the New England area, you want to check him out, a fantastic photographer, especially for live events, when we can get back to doing live events again. CJ Cullen is listening from AC. What? That's a way to start the weekend. AC, huh? Very nice. Very nice. Hey, if you get the chance, go to the Tennessee Avenue Brewery and Bar Tavern, the beer garden. I think that's what it is. My good friend Scott Cronick, one of the owners down there. They'll give you a good time. They had a screening, as a matter of fact, of Clerks as well. One time that I hosted last summer. So, or not last summer. Geez, 2 summers ago. This is sad. Sad where this time is going. But it's a great place. If you're down there, CJ, check it out. What do we got here? We have Atlas is in there. Atlas isn't there. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining on board. Daniel Buckley, what is up? What is the rant of the week? We'll get to it. I don't like to rush into my rants immediately. I got to build up. Got to build up that momentum. We also got Big Kahuna Dope 21. What's up, yo? Good to see you too. Andrew Davids, good to see you. The good folks at Havens for Heroes. Emmett, good to see you. Thank you for watching. Alan LeGros from the Great White North of Canada. Thank you for slipping over the border in to watch the show. Trey Mock, good to see you, sir. Liz Ellis, good to see you. Jason Mack, 08522, good to see you. And Brian Play-Doh, good to see you, Mr. Play-Doh and his fun factory. And Glenn Ferraro, what up? Good to see you, sir. He was our first guest for this season. He did that big painting of Dante in the cartoon version, of course, the cartoon Quick Stop. And a good friend of mine, Mr. Bertrand Wong. Good to see you, sir. Got to warm it up. He knows that. He knows that. He's got a podcast himself called Fight Dub. If you get a chance, check it out on YouTube. Fight Dub is all about MMA, but also action movies. Really good stuff. Hopefully, I'll be getting on to their show soon enough. Blake Brogdon, good to see you. Good to see you too, sir. So it's been a long week for me in general, for everybody. To be honest with you, craziness. We just want Congress to pass this money, man. Give us our check, yo. What up? Look, I get it. $1.9 billion. It's going to be the largest package, even the largest spent by the government in one swift bill since the Great Depression, which honestly, this pretty much is. This is getting crazy here. and with everybody, hope anybody down in Texas, I've actually been able to talk to a couple of my friends from the great state of Texas. They have their power back. It does roll on and off from time to time, they still say. So good to see my friends down in Texas are doing well. For those who need help, by all means, reach out to the great Red Cross. I hear they're doing some phenomenal work down there. And I hear some young, congresswoman from my old neighborhood in the Bronx is down there helping people out while their senator is in Florida making jokes about Cancun. Wow. Really? It's just not over down there. You know that, right? Mr. Cruz. There's no need to be in Florida to do your 5 minutes of open mic stand-up for the yahoos praying to the golden cow. Hey, that's right. You think I'm kidding? Check your local feed. They have a golden effigy of this guy that they're all laughing with. Don't get it. Y'all are just so gone. You're gone for reading the room. You're totally in the wrong room. You should be in the room in your state, helping people out, not doing 5 minutes of Shecky Green material in front of a bunch of yahoos standing next to a golden calf. I'm sorry. But really, Texas, y'all need some upper management changes. I know it's the second weekend I've talked about this, but come on, it's still going on. We're not going to ignore it. I'm not going to ignore my friends down there. I have family down there, technically, in a weird way. Diane's brother lives outside of Dallas. So, shit's got to get straightened out. Anyway, that's just a part of the rant. I know when I saw this golden statue, like, are you gots to be kidding me. Like, y'all are the Bible Belt, right? Y'all are the Christian coalition. Let me give you a little tip. There's a chapter called Exodus. Read what they say about golden idols. Just throwing it out there. Look, I'm a lapsed Catholic, but I remember some shit of the book. I mean, come on. And that was one of them. I mean, Edward G. Robinson even knew about that part. Kids, ask your great-grandparents who Edward G. Robinson is, and you'll see what I'm talking about. 10 Commandments. It's that 9-hour movie that they play during Easter time on ABC. There's that big whole thing. They're partying. They're partying like they're in Florida. Funny enough. Not wearing masks either. And they got a big golden calf. And Charlton Heston goes down there. Funny enough. Another great Republican idol. Charlton Heston didn't have his gun then, but he had 2 giant stone tablets. So anyway, check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about when I'm like, how are these people not seeing the irony with this? Sometimes I just think, man, they got huge fucking balls. They got big ass balls to be doing this, but that's what it is. You know what it is. Yes, that's right. Daniel Buckley. He has it right. What the movie dogma is, see what happens when you worship a golden calf. There you go. Right on. So anyway, I had to get that off my chest because I was just like, no, this is please tell me that's Borat that's rolling that in there, or Ashton Kutcher is going to come out and you're like, y'all been punked. We got a golden Trump, or maybe it's the Daily Show and their correspondent in there seeing what kind of reaction they'll get, but not. I think the CPAC, whatever. They probably all use CPAP anyway, so no offense to people who are using CPAP out there. I don't want to get the emails, please. It's a joke. Just like that party is a joke. So anyway, there you have it. Danielle Buckley has put it into the feed to watch. So I was getting back to my schedule. So yes, last Saturday was Q&A with Kevin and the fine folks at Wizard and Marilyn Gigliotti and Scott Schiaffo. Then I did the Sunday A game with Rob Akampora and Nostrababis, also known as Bob Senkowitz, my New York Rangers partner in crime when we go to hockey games together, which, by the way, huge step forward here in the New York City metropolitan area. The first sporting events with audiences started yesterday, They had the Knicks at the Garden tonight. The Rangers are hosting the Buffalo Bruins at Madison Square Garden. They allowed 2,000 fans in the arena. Obviously, they actually had to have tests done and results to go into the arena. Masks, of course, and it must be helping because I have it on my other screen over here, the live game right now. The Rangers are leading 6-1 against Boston, who's pretty much one of the top teams on the Eastern Division this year. And so it's good to see the fans are back in the building. We need that some sort of a semblance of normalcy. So I'm glad to see that's happening, and I'm glad to see the Rangers responding to real people in the building. For a couple of games, the Rangers themselves look like they were zombies just skating around. So it's good to see. So then I was invited down to the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, the new location, 65 Broad Street, just a half a block away from the other location there in the fine city of Red Bank, New Jersey. The great Ernie O'Donnell, also known as Rick Derris from the original Clerks, pretty much did the entire build out of the new store. Fantastic contractor and builder by trade, and overall great guy. He went down there towards the late afternoon to shoot a small segment for the grand opening, which will be happening over one of the weekends in March, this upcoming March. And while down there, a good friend of mine, Mr. Chris Covert, who was the host of my celebrity roast of me a couple of years ago, which eventually, yes, it's getting out there. It will be seen by you in a mass market way. He said that his good friends own this fantastic deli down in Red Bank called Talercio's. There you go, in the Union Square Shopping Center. It's on Route 35 South. There in the right at the border of Middletown and Red Bank. And he said he wanted me to come down there because they're going to name a sandwich after you. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're going to name a sandwich after you. I'm like, really? Yeah, when you come down for the stash thing, I talked to Ernie, we're going to come down and name a sandwich after you. So here it is, folks. And when you see this, it's like this, they make it like the size of your head. This could feed 3 people easily. There's no doubt about it. But there it is. The Dante's Inferno. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. It's a monster. And what it is, I'll start from the top and work my way down. First of all, it's on semolina bread, which is fantastic to begin with. They get their bread, actually, the bakery that they get their bread from is in Brooklyn. So, it's got like real chunks of mobster in it. Anyway, and then it's got imported provolone cheese, right? And then the green you see there, that's actually sauteed broccoli rabe. Oh my God. I'm not really a big fan of broccoli rabe on the norm, but on this sandwich, it was crazy good. And then, I don't know, it's like a half a cow of roast beef, right? Size that thing. And then on the top and the bottom, they make their own cucumber wasabi spread. It was insane. Just absolutely insane. And for those who are going to be in the area, this is the address right there, 544 Route 35 South in Red Bank. There's the number, the 732-576-1888. If you ever get a chance to get there, do, because and order the Dante's Inferno. Tell them I sent you. And seriously, they actually had sandwiches. These guys actually supplied sandwiches for the soft opening, because that's what this past Monday was, the soft opening for the Secret Stash. And it was just crazy. But then, so I do this little segment. If you go and follow Talercio's there on their social media, we did this reveal of the sandwich on their Instagram, and it was a lot of fun. And so as a thank you, besides just giving me the sandwich, as a thank you, they sent me home with like pans of food. Like they have this chicken tercios, which is like this, like almost chicken cordon bleu kind of style, but this crazy, unbelievable sauce with it, and sent us home with fried ravioli. And they have like every kind of egg roll you can think of made with a filling, like cheesesteak egg roll and just chicken parm egg roll, like every like 15 different kinds of egg rolls. It was crazy. And so he sent me home. I had my good friend Rob Acampora, who was the host of A Game with Rob Acampora. He was there, and so I was like, "Look, you got to take some of this. I can't. Me and Diane can't eat all of this. Even if we gave it to our cats, we'd still have a ton left over. Plus, he gave us like uh, penne alla vodka sauce, just crazy stuff. So if you ever get a chance, if you're in that area, in the Middletown Red Bank area, and you need catering done or any type of Italian specialties, it's just a huge superstore of amazingness. Their sandwiches are worth it. They're a little pricey, but like I said, you could probably feed 3 people with that one sandwich alone. So it was definitely worth it. And yes, there you go. See, Danger Girl, nice, 15 minutes from you. Yes, absolutely. That's what you want to do. You want to get yourself there. Danny would lose his mind if that's her significant other. Danny would lose his mind there. He'd be like, "Oh my God, this is fantastic." So definitely check it out. But that wasn't it. So then last night, I was invited to be a part of a podcast streamcast of this movie night at the alternate ending beer company in Aberdeen, New Jersey. And this was, once again, I was just streaming in remotely. And these guys have a fantastic concept. And what it was is they have every once in a while they have movie nights, because it's an old movie theater that they two-screen movie theater that they took over. Just to show you what one of their screening rooms looked like. That's one of their screening rooms that they have set up, where then you can have beer and food. It's a full kitchen. Amazing. It's actually, it was the food is from anybody who's familiar with the Asbury Park Tallulah's restaurant. That's who is the person. Those are the people who are running the kitchen part of the brewery, and just sick. Like, so I'm watching them. And I mean, this is just to give you this is their pizza. This is their Detroit style pizza. They do many different versions of pizza. This was ordered by Ming. I'm stealing photos from Ming's Facebook page, just so we know. But what's great about the company is they do a thing called alternate endings and what if beers. So for instance, they do a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. So here is a Belgian IPA that they make, and they have incredible artists doing their labels. And this is one called Mando with No Name. And they ask questions, so you can see on the can here, when Mando meets a man with no name, gets 3 coffins ready. Make that 4. And they just ask questions on the can, like, what if the Mandalorian was crossed with, a Clint Eastwood movie and stuff like that. And so this is one of the ones you can get cans, but they're taps. They have tons of stuff, many, many taps to choose from, many different things. So they also did, because the owners are huge View Askew fans, they also made a beer called Chuckleheads Part 3. And as you can see in the shadow, it's kind of like a Cheech and Chong in the shadow, but if you look in the doorway, it's Jay and Silent Bob. So they go like, Jay and Silent Bob could be Cheech and Chong. What's in this, man? So there you go. So many different, like I said, tons and tons and tons of different beers that they just come up with for this company. And so if you ever get a chance, I got to get myself down there as well. AlternateEndingBeerCompany.com on Route 34 North in Aberdeen. It's the old Strathmore movie theaters they took over, right next door to the bowling alley, if you're familiar with that area. Totally worth it. There's so many great, absolute great breweries that are popping up everywhere. You got Carton Brewery there in the Highlands. You got Ross Brewery. Those guys are going down there as well in the Jersey area. You got Brian Quinn. I was there for his lunch over at Flagship Brewery in Staten Island for his beer line as well. And it's almost a recession-proof kind of industry. Because here's the thing: if you're happy and you know it, have a beer. If you're happy and you know it, have another. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, have a beer. But at the same time, if you're sad, you're going to cry in your beer. So there you go. When you want to get something, just, I know, yes, beer is a depressant and stuff like that. It's not the way to solve problems or anything of that matter. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, get to the alternate ending beer company. Tell them Brian O'HalloRANT sent you. And then they'll be like, oh, shit. We totally need to send that guy his beer. Whew. Who else we got joining us? Tony Fiddler, good to see you, my friend. We have no hockey in Atlanta. Is the Thrashers get all COVID? They are not the Thrashers. They used to be the Thrashers. They're now the Predators. What else we got? Andrew Davis, crying in my beer now. But want a Dante sandwich. Well, there you go. I don't know if they ship. You could call that number and find out. Give them a call tomorrow when you can, if you get a chance. It's worth it. Worth the trip, folks. Totally worth the trip. So that was my week for the most part. I drove down, saw Diane's parents, picked up some mail for her. Went to my mom, picked up some mail for me. Checked on how things were. Things are good in the Jersey area. And I got to tell you, man, even with COVID and less people on the road, people still drive like nuts, man. Because I left on this day, it was snowing where I was, Northeast Pennsylvania. By the time I got to like Short Hills, that's when it was just rain. And for the rest of the drive down to the Red Bank area, it was just rain. But people, man, they're all cooped up from the snow. So they think, okay, snow's done. It's just rain. Let me drive 85 miles an hour still. Let me just keep doing that. Like just zooming through people. I'm just like, what the hell? And I was like, well, I'm in Jersey. Of course we're going to do that. That's right. Emmett up there in Port Jervis. I'm about a half an hour from Port Jervis. Fox and the Hare. That's another brewery, a very great brewery. Been there a few times as well. They have fantastic food as well. Award-winning food there as well. So if you ever get up to the Port Jervis area, good for you. Emmett, represent Port Jervis area. You can actually get to this place, the New Jersey Port Jervis line train. Get it from Secaucus. Take a train to the Secaucus Junction. Get on the Port Jervis line. Get yourself to the last stop, Port Jervis. It's a 2-hour train ride, but hey, you could drink. And I think the last train out of Port Jervis won't get you home. So spend a night. There's a hotel in town. It's a real nice hotel, actually. Thanks for the heads up, Emmett. We got someone saying, Tony Fiddler says the Wizard Con was awesome Saturday. Yes, the free Q&A was awesome. It's still going on, meaning Wizard is still offering some stuff. We're still going to be able to do one-on-one, I would say. One-on-one photos, signed one-on-one Q&As with ours, what we call one-on-one video chats with myself or Scott or Marilyn Gigliotti. Or we also have recorded messages by myself, any of us, including Jeff Anderson. Signed autographs as well. Check it out, wizardworldvirtual.com for more of that. Whew. It's getting chippy. It's getting chippy now there in this Boston-New York game. Boston is got another goal about a couple of minutes ago, so it's now 6-2 New York. But there have been so many chippy fights. I just keep seeing the refs coming in between players. It's awesome. It's old-time hockey, if you ask me. And that's the thing is, now Boston, because of the way they've aligned these divisions, because of COVID, Canada is their own separate division, West Coast, East Coast. So Boston's in our division now, technically, and so we're all, like it used to be, fighting. Old school time. Old school time. And then tonight, earlier this evening, nearly forgot, I was on Zenoscope Entertainment, comic book publisher. Every month, once a month, we do a movie club. So we promote that we're going to take an old school movie and we're going to watch it before the show. The show is usually on a Friday night, once a month, middle of the month usually. 6 in the late afternoon on the East Coast, 3 p.m. West Coast, and we discuss it. It's a great cast of panelists. We've done films like Creepshow, Escape from New York, Edward Scissorhands, and then last night I watched Dreamscape, 1984 Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid, Christopher Plummer, and Max von Sydow, also Kate Capshaw, and some really fine actors. And the story was good. I remember this movie back in the 80s when I saw it, where the premise is a young guy who has kind of psychic abilities is recruited for this project to enter other people's dreams and either help them with their nightmares or what have you. And not to spoil it, but the government gets involved, and the kind of the motives become very nefarious. And Christopher Plummer, who is the government official, plays it seamlessly, beautifully, and just doesn't have to be violent at all himself personally, but wields the power to do it. And so we watched that, and then earlier this evening, the panel and we discussed it. Marilyn Gigliotti is one of the panels. Crystal Starr, famous from Lego Masters, is on it. Sun Kanmaki, she is a comic book artist, cover artist. She's one of the other fine panelists. Ralph Tedesco, one of the owners of the comic book company, is also one of the fine panelists as well, and Christopher Sampson as well. So we taped that earlier. We had that live earlier this evening. If you want, go on to your Twitch, friend, look up Zenoscope, Zene Scope, Zenoscope, or YouTube or Facebook. It was a fun time, and the previous episodes are on that. So it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of talk of mushroom pills. Apparently, there are these mushroom extract pills that they sell on Amazon that really help you relax or to dream, have lucid dreams. So there was a running joke of being able to pop these mushroom capsules and really have these lucid dreams. And so I was goofing with Crystal Starr about that. A lot of fun. Yes, Lego Masters was amazing. Same thing. If anybody's a fan of Jason Muse's Twitch, especially, he's a big Lego brick builder himself. He has tons of sets. Every time we would go out on a Comic-Con, he'd have to hide certain sets because he didn't want his wife to know that he was spending money on Legos, because the wife was trying to remodel the house and their budget was going towards that. And, oh man, a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And he's just like,
what the fuck are you bitches babbling about?
I know, Jay, give me a break. We're just talking about you and your Lego, addiction that you have.
What the fuck is the internet?
You know what the internet. Stop interrupting. What's up, Tech Nizzle? Good to see you, my friend. Bootleg 317. Any update with the RST reopening? That I don't know. I know there's been some chatter on the interwebs that the guy trying to open it had some issues with the landlord or something. There was some kind of miscommunication. So I have no idea what's going on with the RST opening. I know they remodeled the inside of it. We shall see. I know Kevin has the podcastle, the Smod Castle, as we're calling it, that Ernie built out. They're looking now that theaters are allowed to be open in New Jersey. I can't see it not having a limited capacity. If it's 25% to whatever the fire marshal rating capacity is. I think the Smod Castle is rated for something like 80 people. So if they're at 35% of that, y'all do the math. I'm not going to do the math. I'm sure that they might be able to have something there. So maybe when Kevin comes down for the grand reopening of the Secret Stash, I can't see why not they not have some sort of show at his castle, because it's just sitting there ready to be utilized. So I hope that does get to be open soon, because I'm looking to maybe have a couple of live shows myself of this down at the Smod Castle, get to see some great friends, have some in-studio guests, so to speak. And it should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. I know Ernie built it out to the nines, and they have some of the best equipment that's going to be utilized for live shows there. So anybody's going to be able to rent that place won't really need much of their own, but their own imagination and topics to last either an hour or two or whatever you want to rent it for. But a lot of artwork on the walls, a lot of memorabilia is going to be on the walls. I know that. Fantastic light sconces made out of metal by a great artist out of the Austin area by the name of Tim Harris. So that's going to be worth going down there for. I don't know if it's going to be BYOB. I see people clinking glasses, but yeah, I don't know if they'll have a cabaret license for drinks or whatnot. But it should be fun, and I look forward to it. So let's see here. So let's open this up. Let's see what we got. Let's open this up to boom, audience Q and A. So let's play some more of Scott's music. It's not quite the speed round questions. This is usually the music I play for speed round. So what's up? What do we got out there? Ask your question. What's up, John Ross? Good to see you, sir. We were talking about beer earlier. So here we go. First question. Jason Mack wants to know, when is Clerks 3 starting to film? We're hoping this summer, sir. We're hoping this summer. We'll see where we're at. That was a question that was also discussed on the free Wizard World Q&A last Saturday. So we're hoping. We're hoping. Here we go. Are you ready for tomorrow's one-on-ones? I'm always ready, man. One-on-ones for me. I get it all the time. I've been doing one-on-one every day. I'm one-on-one with Diane all day. Always answering questions. What are you doing in here? Didn't I tell you to get out of here? Will you stop bothering me? Easy questions. Boom, boom, boom. Rapid pace. Here we go. When are you coming to the Point Blank podcast again? Soon, sir. But I'd like to do it in person. Let's do it in person, because I watch you guys and you're drinking your beer while podcasting, and I can't do that. I can't stop watching now. Unless, of course, you send another shipment my way, and then I could participate remotely. But I can't sit there for the Point Blank podcast and not have some of your beer to be drinking while talking to you. Are we going to get some O'HalloRANT merch? Yes, we're working on that, Mr. Christopher Hewitt. I have a couple of surprises coming up in the next coming weeks. So working on that. I have someone who's been consulting with me about merch. Yes, I hope those are going to be cool. We shall C. Thank you, Mr. Frischetti. So with a minute to go in the game, the Rangers at home in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, is looking like they're going to be winning this with a score of 6-2. Every 2 points is worth it. And I'm glad to see fans in the building. And what they've done, if anybody's ever been to Madison Square Garden, there's 3 levels. So they sold all the tickets for seats just for the lower level. So the upper 2 levels, no one is sitting at. The only people who are up in the upper level are people in the press, the broadcast booth, things like that. So here we go. And 10 seconds to go. Ooh, I thought the Rangers were about to score there again. Here we go. What's your favorite meal? You know, I can never turn down sushi. I'm a big fan of sushi. I like barbecue, another great meal. Seafood in general. So, you know, crab legs, salmon, a good lobster tail, a good fruta di mare kind of Italian, you know, linguine with clams and mussels and shrimp and scallops. That's always a good thing, especially like a spicy, like arrabbiata kind of sauce with the seafood is really good. That's kind of my favorite meal. Do you have any more comic book projects coming out? Is Donnybrook still going on? Yes, Donnybrook is still going on. Thank you for the question. Emmett at Haven for Heroes comic book shop there in Port Jervis. And I know the writers are working on the Tales from the Curious Odd Tales from the Curiosity Shop. Have my copy back there. I know that they're gathering more stories for that. Independent publishing is tough, you know, especially during this COVID time, because you know, as an independent publisher, you're going to spend the money to write the book, pay the artists for their artwork, make all the pages, send it to print. You know, you got to pay for the print, but not being able to be on the road at Comic Cons and being able to interact with fans one-on-one and pitch them why you should buy this book. And you're allowed to, you know, most of the time to pick up a book and flip through the pages and really enjoy it. And if the artist is there and the writers are there, they get to sign your copy. A lot of the times, that's how a lot of these independent publishers and comic book artists have to do. They have to go out at these conventions to sell their books independently. Comic book shops, not like you guys. You guys at the Havens for Heroes are really good about bringing a lot of independent labeled stuff in. But a lot of comic book shops, the ones that are still left, because that's another industry that, you know, rent's due, and a lot of these landlords don't care that, you know, the extra money that's normally spent on comic books is not around anymore. But so a lot of projects have been put on back burners, or at least the publishing, the physical publishing of it. The art where artists can still draw, the writers can still write on their own dime, so to speak, to have it ready so that when it's ready to go to print, they're ready to go. So, yeah. So hopefully they'll get those 2 books out there now. Once again, yes, groovy music still is Scott Schiaffo. So here you go. ScottSchiaffo.com for some music choices. Best way to go there. Plus his book. His book is awesome. His book is really, really great. And his other projects, his other film projects, go there to catch some of his fine swag. What do we got here? I love hearing your artist stories behind the stories at conventions. Yes, that is correct, Danger Girl AC. A lot of the times, that's the best part, is hearing where they came up with their concepts or what inspired them. And some of the times you'll find some artists who don't get hired by Marvel or DC or any of the larger Dark Horse, any of the larger independent publishers, because they just want to make it not have to answer to nobody, put out their own kind of thing. So it's always good to see people who are like, nah, I'm doing it on my own. It's kind of like, the band selling their CDs out of the back of their van, as opposed to having a distributor. What's my favorite hobby? I assume you mean hobby. There's quite a few. I enjoy playing poker, Texas Hold'em, with my good friends, talking shit to them, especially when there are bad beats. A couple of the people on this stream have experienced it firsthand. Love watching movies. I enjoy a good video game every once in a while. And then as of the last 6 months, once a week, virtually, I've been playing a fantasy role-playing game. That's, we're kind of creating our own system, and our game master has created this incredible world. Fantastic friends who I played D&D and pretty much every RPG imaginable from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We played together. This was the core, 4 of us that I've known since high school. And 6-7 months ago, one of my good friends reached out to all of us saying, hey, man, we're all home. Do you want to do this? And it was good. It was good. I'm not going to lie to people. It was really great to get together, albeit virtually, with these folks who I went to school with, hung out in my early 20s, mid-20s, lived with, and to be role-playing again. One lives up in Boston, another one lives in LA, another one lives in the Princeton area, New Jersey, and myself over here, Northeast Pennsylvania. And so we get together and we Zoom, and we have a chat room that we keep during the week to ask questions of the game master, certain things and stuff like that. And it's turned into this kind of weird, fun, reminiscent kind of time when we would be locked in my friend's parents' basement pretty much for a good 3-day all-night gaming session, where the only time we stopped was to sleep for like 5 hours in the same basement. It's some good times, and it's nice to see virtually that we could do it again. And with technology now, we could put up photos of maps, and images of characters and images of the world that we're traveling through. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been reading articles that during this pandemic, RPG playing has had the biggest renaissance in a very long time. So, we'll see what happens with that. I'd love to see you do more stand-up, sir. I would love to do it again. There was an offer during the pandemic at one point for a show in Atlantic City that a good friend of mine, Mr. Chris Covert, set up for me, but then live shows had closed down. So we might pick that offer back up again. I can go down there and do another 15-20 minute set. It's always a lot of fun. I love live interactions with an audience. There's nothing better than that. So I appreciate that feedback, and I love watching other comics too. Like the angle, the technique that a lot of people have is just so great, especially when you see someone who's been doing it for years. That have been. What do we have here? Question for Brian. Will you be attending the grand opening this Secret Stash? Yes, most likely. If it's on a weekend that I'm available, I think I will be, because there is a weekend in March. I'll be making an announcement in the next coming days about that there'll be an appearance. So stay tuned to not only this social media look there, but what is it? Here we go. Follow along on those social media outlets. I'll be announcing some stuff. But yes, I hope to be at the same one as well. Jim Girls 1975 asks, what do you think your life would be like if Clerks never happened? Good question. You know, I was acting already locally in theaters in New Jersey, off-Broadway theaters in New York. I would hope that I would have found myself acting either in theater or in films or whatnot as well. I mean, I was working a supermarket job at the time. I was working training to be a night manager in the ShopRite chain when I finally left to pursue acting full time. So, which paid incredible money for someone who was, 21, 22, 23 years old. It was great money for being single and not having, a mortgage and all this other stuff. So I don't know. That's a good question. And that's like It's a Wonderful Life kind of scenario, not that if I didn't exist, but, if I'd never been part of the Clerks crew, so to speak. Will there be a speed round? No, because it's usually me asking the questions of other people. So it's just me tonight. And you guys are questioning me, and I'm not going to speed through that because everybody deserves time for their question to be answered. Like Mr. Andrew Davis here. Top 3 movies, not yours. That's a tough question. Usually I like to pick genres. One of my favorites is Shawshank Redemption. Patton, the movie Patton, about the general. And Empire Strikes Back. And then there's tons of others. There's, like Jaws, fantastic movie. Close Encounters, great movie. And a good list can go on and on and on. If you named it to like, favorite sci-fi movie or favorite comedy or, things like that. So, but there you have it. Have you ever checked out Nowhere Comedy Club? I have not. I'll have to look into that one. Are there any hobbies that you thought you were going to pick up in quarantine but ended up not going through with? I don't know about if it was a hobby, but it was kind of like a resolution like, well, I could just walk around my block some more since, I'm not going anywhere. Didn't do that as much as I wanted to. I mean, I could do it at any point. And technically the hobby that I picked up was this. And the role playing and, editing. I've been editing little mini kind of trailer movies for our role playing game, which I play for my friends who play the game. I don't really play them anywhere else because there's like licensing issues and stuff because I steal things from different films. That's why. And who doesn't? I mean, look, that's what memes are for, right? Here's another one. Weren't you working as a salesman for a barware manufacturing when the auditions happened? That is correct, sir. I was working for, I was the national sales manager for a barware manufacturing company, which is still around, based in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And which I'll do some consulting from them from time to time because it's a fine group of people that own it and work there. So that's always good. Here we go. Eleanor says, my dad would love you for Patton. He's seen it a million times. I know. It's a long film, but it's a fantastic character study. Impeccably acted, fantastically filmed. One of the best war movies out there. Can you share a single word of dialogue from Clerks 3? Randall? There you go. Single word. I say that a few times. harder or easier to be creative during quarantine? I find it to get in a rut. It's easy to get in a rut. I get creative around other creatives. So being out at Comic Cons, being out at film festivals, talking to other filmmakers, other actors, other producers, it just feeds that energy. You can't help it. It's like being part of a team, you know what I mean? Or being part of a professional team that now that they're finally getting fans in the stands, that you feed off that energy. So it's harder to be creative in quarantine, I believe, because you kind of want feedback and you also want inspiration. You just being home and seeing, being in the same house and in the same kind of atmosphere, it's quite easy to find yourself in a rut. So, and I believe that's a great question, Anthony. And I believe that's something that I think other people here can relate to. And it's not just being creative. It's just getting motivated to do anything is so tough sometimes. We have a big one here. I just got a 5-minute stand-up set, but virtual for a Canadian audience. It looks to be pretty rough, but a challenge is a challenge. Would love to see a stand-up set from you. Also, you killed it in the Q&A. Thank you for the Wizard World interview. You and Scott were great. So entertainment. Do you know when Clerks 3 is coming out? Well, if we film it this summer, hopefully maybe by the fall or the beginning of next year, we shall see. And when will there be callback nail painting scene from Clerks 2, which also was a callback for Clerks 1? Sorry, I tune in so much. I'm just jonesing for some being in a scene with you, but not meeting you. It's a surreal feeling. All right. I got you, Haza. Good luck with the set. Canadians, they love their hockey jokes. No, just kidding. It's tough. I'm friends with quite a few stand-ups, and the virtual thing was not conducive to the natural rhythm of being in front of an audience. Now, what they were setting up towards the middle of summer, end of summer, fall, and still in some areas where there's warm weather year-round, parking lots, drive-in movie theaters was doing, and even Kevin and Jay did one here in Jersey at the Homedale Bell Works, where they had a screening, or they had a Jay and Silent Bob Get Old live podcast show where everybody's sitting in their cars and honking horns as approval, as laughter, as applause and whatnot, which is funny because I can imagine doing many shows like that and eventually then sitting in real traffic and you start hearing horns. As a comedian who've done shows in front of a parking lot, people beeping at you because they like what you said, it'll get you through your traffic with everybody beeping. You'll be like, thank you. Ah, right on. Thank you, sir. Right on. Yes, please don't forget to tip your waitress. Oh, wait, I'm on the highway. So, yeah, I can see that being the way to go with that. So good luck, Canadians. Here we go. What else do we have here? Do you plan on doing more stage work when we can bring live performance? I would love to, Kenny. I know I did 3 staged readings in the beginning of this. A couple of friends of mine started a Facebook group called Home Quarantine Cabaret, in which we performed 3 shows for that. We were looking to do more this past fall, but one of the major guys involved in it had to work on some other things, so we didn't get involved in that. But yes, I do. That's one of my favorite loves is performing in front of a live audience, and doing stage plays is, that's the drug that really can feed a performer, is that live show. Can I get a happy birthday? Scott and Ernie both wished me one on Facebook. LOL. Outdo them. Well, here you go. You have me on video, bro. Happy birthday, Mr. Ryan Free. Good to see you. May you have many, many more. Remember, don't blow out the candles with your mouth. Wave on it, because you still, you got to cut the cake and hand that out to people. And We don't know what the transmission rate is these days. But happy birthday, sir. I hope that I outdid Scott and Ernie. So we also have someone. Eleanor says, I can relate being unmotivated. Haven't picked up a camera in months. I hear you, Eleanor. We have a couple of great photographers here in the room right now. Mr. Anthony Frischetti asked about it as well. Danger Girl AC, she was at that Homedale show of the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old last year. The outdoor show was great. Yes, it was. Once Kevin got there, because Kevin was a little late, but you know, it's fun. Mr. Alan Sullivan, there he is. I know you have street hockey cred, but do you skate on a pond in the ice rink or ice rinks? I haven't done the pond skating since I was a kid. Ice rinks, the last time I was on an ice rink was probably 3-4 years ago. I hope you're doing well. I see my Rangers beat your Bruins. Mr. Alan Sullivan here, another photographer. He's one of the official photographers of the said Boston Bruins. So, matter of fact, he photoshopped and made a photo of me. Hang on. This is me that he had photoshopped. There you go. He even put his automotive shop in the background there. So, Mr. Alan Sullivan, I have this right amongst all my Ranger swag. So, good to see you catching the show. Always fun to have some good people on. Happy birthday and healthy transmission. Have a healthy transmission rate, right? How did Drop Dead Roses come about? So Mr. Ryan Free, Mr. Drop Dead Roses, a film I did up in Toronto, Canada. I was emailed by the writer-director herself, Miss Jessica Hudson. Not the Jessica Hudson that we know. Jennifer Hudson, rather, that we know out in the world. But she had reached out, said this idea for a funny romantic comedy. I was intrigued. We then discussed more about getting it done. And over a couple of, like a year or two of fundraising for the film, because it was independently done. And Diana played the main female lead in the movie. And we had Eddie McGee, the first winner of the house where you get all locked up and people compete. Big Brother. He was the first winner of Big Brother. He was my co-star in that as well. We shot it up in Toronto. Fine actor named Chris Dimitopoulos played the antagonist in that. So that's how that came about. We did some fundraising. We even did like a spoof kind of pseudo naked calendar to raise money. You can catch it now. I think it may be on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure, but check your outlets for that. Your top 3 movies of 2020. Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to have to get back to you that one, Chris. I know we're coming up into award season, so it should be quite easy, but there wasn't a lot that I was like, oh my God, best thing ever. How do you go about casting, LOL? You mean during this time of COVID, how does casting? There's a lot of, pretty much all auditions now are being done virtually. I mean, if you're living in LA, I'm sure they're bringing people in on specific projects and stuff like that. But casting is always, the director has ideas of who they want to bring in. They, if you have a budget to bring in an actual casting director who has, thousands of files of people on file to bring in, and, you're looking for a certain, obviously, gender, then age group, then, if you're looking for a certain kind of stereotypes or whatever, and then you start that auditioning process. And the audition process usually starts like 4 months out before you really shoot to get it nailed down anyway. And then you hope people you get to find agree to do it, and they're within the budget that you want to have to pay them. And then you get to start filming. You start to rehearsal, and then you get to do it. Ryan says he has it on DVD. Perfect. There you go, sir. Eleanor White, is Mallrats 2 happening? And if so, have you signed on for it? We're hoping it happens, just like we're hoping Clerks 3 happens. I think that's the first one, because I know Kevin, sometimes I find Kevin, is a victim of what I would say premature enunciations, shall we say, that might be enthusiastically fueled by 420 juice. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes he puts the weed cart in front of the horse. And so he says things and we plan for things, but then, the world happens and things change. So I know he was writing one. He had a hilarious idea how to do Mallrats 2. And then the world changed, as you see. And so now I believe it's better that we do the Clerks 3 movie first. It'll be easier to put together. It's a smaller cast in a certain way. And then there's talk of perhaps Mallrats 2 being a TV show. That's still being bounced around, so I don't know. That's a Kevin question, but that's once again rushing things. Oh, you're giving me choices. You're giving me my speed round, Mr. Hewitt. King Kong or Godzilla? I'll take King Kong. Just because he was the first monster show. Twilight of the Mallrats. Yes, I believe that was the working title of it. And Eleanor even agrees. Yes, he announced it like 4 times. I know. I hear you. Ranger Danger and a Danger Rangers. Yes, that was another project. That's just sitting, hoping that we can get that done. Now, that's his superhero kind of sci-fi script. I would love to be involved in that just because I'd love to be a part of some sort of sci-fi movie property of some sort. I think it would be a lot of fun to do that. We'd love to be a part of the Mandalorian. Favreau. Just saying. I know there's an opening right now. You had to let someone go. And so they need to fill that spot. I know you have Bill Burr, but I don't want to spoil it. But I mean, come on. Why not me? Why not? Great. I'd be great at it. I don't even have to speak English. I could be, I'm a little big for a Jawa. I could be part of some cantina band. I can't dance around with big things off my head. No, not that cute. Oh, I could be the big pig guardsmen. I forget what they were called. Put me in one of those suits. Won't need enough padding. No. Sand people. True, I could be a sand person. Don't worry, Boots. So you're late. Don't worry. That's why we record these things. You'll catch up. Just so you know, no guests, just me. Rapping with y'all. I ranted earlier on. You can find out what that is in the replay. So, answering questions from the audience. Here we go. What's your favorite Star Wars movie moment? Ooh. See, that's a good question because I cannot like the movie fully, but I could like moments of a movie. So that's good. Ooh. That's a tough one. I mean, the lightsaber fight between Kylo Ren and Rey, or Kylo Ren with Rey, in the Emperor's chambers with his Supreme Guard. That was kind of cool. Where the curtains caught on fire and stuff. Visually, that was kind of cool. The pod race was good. I mean, my top 2 Star Wars movies, if we're going to do that, is Empire Strikes Back, and then Rogue One. My top 2 films out of the Star Wars world. Are you going to be in Vulgar 2, hoping it's still happening? I'm hoping it's still happening too. Look, I was told the outline by Brian Johnson. There was 2 versions. There was an outline that of an idea of a script that Brian Johnson told me. I want to say 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And then he worked on that, and then it stopped. He stopped working on it. I asked about it, and he's like, I didn't like it. And then he got an epiphany about a new way to address how to do a Vulgar 2, which explained the gap in time and everything. And I thought, wow, that was great. And he was going to get on it. And he was. And this was 2019, I believe it was. And then COVID was happening and he got married. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give the guy the break. He just got married. He's in his honeymoon kind of a couple of months. So that's a Brian Johnson question. I'm ready. I know everybody who he's asked to be a part of it is ready. We're all ready to go. So once Brian Johnson finishes writing this draft and hands it over, it's pretty dark. It's dark. I mean, it's a vulgar movie. Of course it's going to be dark. Why isn't it? So hopefully it still is going to happen. What about the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One? Yes. Definitely pretty dope when he's raiding the ship and just tossing the rebellion officers around with his force powers. It's funny because it kind of reminded me that scene in The Mandalorian when the last episode surprise guest popped up. That kind of reminded me of that essence as well. So, yes, great scene. Can't argue with that one. Mr. Bertrand Long knows Empire for sure. He knows because he rolls like me. He knows it. Okay, what movie can you watch again and again and again and again and again and never grows old? And it's not that I hunt it out, but it's the type of movie that if it's on, I'm just, all right, well, this is on. I'll just watch it. And that's like Shawshank. Shawshank, for some reason, just it sits. Patton, if it's on, will just sit. I did that with Rogue One when they were showing it a bunch of times on TNT or TBS, one of the two. It all depends on what else is. If there's nothing else on, I'm not, and if I'm not streaming something, you can't go wrong by watching it. Like, you know, it's going to entertain you. Plus, I find when watching something I love multiple times, I'll find myself now looking for different aspects. Like I'll start paying attention to the backgrounds and the set design and, oh, I didn't realize that character was in the crowd there, or things like that. Fifth Element, Gladiator, Scargate. Yeah, I can see that. Totally, Gem Girls. Bert says, Goodfellas. That's another good one. You think I'm funny? What, like ha-ha funny? Like, I mean, great scenes. Casino, another great film that you can't put down, you know, turn off when it starts on there. Really good stuff. I mean, Scorsese, you can't go wrong with most of it. What do we got here? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yes, that's always a good one for a good laugh. Mr. Rob Akampora joining us. Shawshank, top 5 film of all time without question. It's a good, strong comment. Absolutely agree with. Any favorite Netflix shows you recommend? Yes. Now, it's been out for a while, but if you haven't seen The Last Kingdom, my man Burt Wong, who you just saw comment with Goodfellas, he told me about this. And since it's a fantasy world, I was like, all right, I got to see this. And it is awesome. Completely awesome. Totally, you got to go watch that. Anything Marx Brothers. Yes, those are always good. Predator, also another great film, which I think will be one of the films that Zenoscope will be doing one of these future months. So always a great one. Arnold is just incredible in it. He's just awesome. He's just got this full Arnoldness. You just gotta love him. Billy, what is it, Billy? Ah, good stuff. Bill Duke, another great actor in that. Love Predator. The Martian, yes. There you go. I like that. That was, and I'm a science nerd, and seeing a really well constructed, really strong in science fact, in a way, and in, obviously incredibly directed, and I think he does a phenomenal job acting in it. It's really a great movie. So yeah, that was another one that when that was showing on so many times, that was really good. Another Netflix show. There's Rise of Empires, a series of documentaries, and the Rise of Empires Ottoman was really, really well done, and it's all true or based on historical study. The Roman Empire has 3 seasons because they cover, I think, 3 different Caesars during that time. So that's my next thing on my queue for that series. Is always great. What's this? Beavis and Butthead are coming back. Dante and Renda should be their neighbors, or at least the local convenience store that Beavis and Butthead go to. I think that'd be funny. You're going to hate me on this. Stranger Things, I actually know personally cast members from the show. I get delivered from SAG the screener seasons, the full seasons. I haven't seen an episode. I'm sorry. I have friends who are in the show. They know I didn't see it either, so it's not like I'm there. They're going to be like, oh, but you said you loved my performance. I never said that because I didn't see the show. So sometimes you just, time gets away from you, especially during that. And it's funny because you would think I'd be seeing, 4 or 5 or 6 members of their cast, as guests at these Comic Cons. You would think I would go, I should look into this show. Why are they so popular? It's just same thing with the Harry Potter movies years ago. Like when I first started doing the Comic Cons, a lot of the kids from Harry Potter, except the 3 main ones, the 3 main characters, were on the convention circuit. And, there was one time we're at this place in Fort Lauderdale at this great convention, and there was outdoor bar at the hotel with a big 20-person jacuzzi next to the pool. And it was like one of the after parties for the VIP guests and stuff like that. And getting in the hot tub, was chatting up with a couple of the guys and some of the women from the show, the movies. And I remember we're having drinks, and some of them, because in England, I believe it's still 18 that you can drink in England. So they were having drinks, and, some of them couldn't because here in America you have to be 21. But someone brought beers and stuff like that. We're having drinks, and I remember them going like, we love your movie and stuff like that. And me just having to be like, I got to apologize. I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies or read any of the books. And they were like, oh, fantastic, great. We don't care. Because sometimes they don't want to hear people like, I loved what you do. I love what you did. Oh, so-and-so Hermione and blah, blah, blah. So it was great. It was great having some drinks with these blokes and birds from the UK and not having to worry about anything. It was a lot of fun. Is there a word? Okay. Since Justin has asked this 20 times, is there a word on Mallrats 2? The word is, we don't know yet. We know that we're making a Clerks 3, Justin, hopefully this summer, which means a release date of sometime either the end of this year or beginning of next, depending on where things go, if we're allowed back in theaters, things like that too. I know, Treymock. What is Mallrats 2? Maybe it's a separate series altogether. But if he's saying 2, like the number, and maybe he's talking into his phone and dictating it, and sometimes the phone has 3 choices: the number 2, TO, and TOO. So I'm going to give him the benefit. What else we got here? I love to see the actors who made those Harry Potter films and other things. Oh, there you go. That'd be an interesting mashup. Here we go. Someone's Boots is asking, Bridgerton is a kick, highbrow, inclusive, Jane Austen-esque. Yeah, I see everybody on the because I see a lot of comedians making jokes about Bridgerton and a lot of the shows making fun of Bridgerton. So we'll see what happens. Haza says, yeah, they start drinking at 18, but really they start drinking at 16. I was nearly Harry Potter. I've been auditioning for that long. Just want to say you'd have been a great Cantina band leader. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you for the love and appreciate it. You're welcome there, Haza. Definitely can't wait to see you do some stand-up. Highway Me. Comedy sounds of Rush. All the best to you too, dude. Daniel Buckley, I just saw the Godfather films for the first time recently. First time? Daniel Buckley, you are a movie, aficionado. You work for a film festival. And this is the first time you're seeing the... Look, now I just admitted I've never seen, to this day, any of the Harry Potters. But every mob movie is compared to The Godfather. There's no Sopranos without The Godfather. There's no, all these other films. It's Scorsese, without The Godfather. So I'm glad you saw it. Stop there. All right, you can see 2. Don't watch 3. It's just going to put a bad taste in your mouth for the other ones. So 1, 2, and jump off the boat. Will there be any interspecies erotica in Clerks 3? I don't think so. I think we've jumped the donkey on that one, so to speak, coining the jump the shark kind of thing. What have you been streaming besides Mandalorian? I told someone earlier I finished the series of The Last Kingdom. I just started last night. It's a short series called Love, Death, and Robots. It's short. It's a series of short stories, animated short stories. That's really good. I know it was a 2019 series, but if you want some short subject, phenomenal pieces, go to your Netflix, type in Love, Death, and Robots, and you could clear the first season. I think you could be able to do it in one day, actually. Hey, Scott Chef O'Brien outdid you with the... I don't know if he's here. I know. Oh, there he is. Scott is there. There we go. Scott, as a matter of fact, Scott Schiaffo and my good friend David Madison, at 11 o'clock, they have their show on the George Romero Indie Brigade. At 11 o'clock, it's the End of Night with Dave Madison, co-hosted with Scott Schiaffo and Joe Ridgely. So if you get a chance, in just over a half an hour from now, check it out. They have some great guests on every Friday night at 11 o'clock. They go for an hour. I pop on in there usually towards the end of the show every once in a while, either promoting or commenting on how their guest was and stuff like that. Was that one? Are you into the WandaVision series? Yes. As a matter of fact, I am. I didn't catch technically today's episode. I thought last week, to be honest with you, was the last episode of the season. Come to find out there's 2 more episodes. So yes, I've been enjoying that. I've been liking the kind of twists and turns. I've loved how every show has been a new, has been a different era of television, and kind of, homaging certain shows. And I remember last week's show, and I just started laughing because I was a big fan of The Office. The original Office from England with Ricky Gervais. I actually own the series on DVD, and also the American version, the Steve Carell version as well. So it was nice to see that opening credits segment. So I'm looking forward to this week's, and then obviously the last one next week's. What do we got here? Horace and Peter's Amazing Alan Alda's Best Stuff. All right. I'll have to look up that. What other sports do you watch? I'm going to give it to you in favorability level. My sport of choice is ice hockey. Second, I guess, would be football, but there's only 16 games. Third would be baseball. Fourth would be basketball. Fifth would be probably auto racing, both Formula One and NASCAR. My father was into road rally racing. He worked for the Renault French car company for many, many years. And we used to go up to Watkins Glen and Pocono. I'm not far from the Pocono Raceway myself. And then when it comes to the actual teams, so it'd be the New York Rangers, the New York Jets, the New York Mets, the New York Knicks. And auto racing shifts with me from racer to racer from time to time. And yes, the list of teams, I know pain and disappointment quite easily. Every one of those teams has heartbreak, has heartbreak in it. They have heartbroken me from time to time. So those are the sports for that. Scott Schiaffo, can you throw a link on to your show if he is at his computer? If he wants to type in a link to the show, by all means. Otherwise, I think, let me just quickly find it here. All right. I'll try to put up myself. There you go. If you're a Twitch follower, there you go. That's an easy way you can do it. Just follow it on Twitch. Have you watched Katie Sackhoff in Another Life? No, I haven't. Oh, but I have heard a lot of good things about it. And Katie's a phenomenal actress. Great to see her in The Mandalorian. So it's nice to see Snowpiercer. I don't know. I know it was a film first. I just see the concept kind of weird. So I never got into that. But I know some people are tuning into it. I see that pop up on my feed a lot too. Turn Washington Spies is amazing while we're at the time. Yeah, especially with what's going on these days in Washington. I'm sure I could find a lot of similarities. I'm looking at you, Mr. Cruz. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, look at the time, 10:30. I've been on the air for a good hour and a half, but I want to say that it's been well worth it. I want to appreciate all of you for coming out tonight and sitting in front of your computers, or if you're watching this via your TV and Twitch or on YouTube or on the Facebook page. By all means, thank you so much. It's good to be back, to talk to people, to talk to you, to get your feedback. Sometimes it's not always about a guest. Sometimes it's just about a conversation with you guys. So there is still quite a few couple of hours left to purchase your 8x10 autograph, one-on-one video chats, recorded messages, or virtual photo ops with myself, Jeff Anderson, Marilyn Gigliotti, Scott Schiaffo. Still time to buy those till 11 o'clock Pacific time tonight, which is 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast. Let me get rid of that Q&A banner. There we go. Check it out. There's still time to get your order in now. It'll be a lot of fun. That's what I'll be doing all day tomorrow. But thank you so much. Thank you, Riff 303. Thanks for joining us. Boots, thank you so much for coming by. Mr. Christopher Hewitt, as always, #1 fan. Thank you so much. Thank you, Emmett, over at Haven for Heroes. Haven for Heroes out of Port Jefferson, New York. Check it out for your comic book needs and your gaming needs, especially. They are fantastic with console games, old school console games. He's always bringing in more and more stock of people. So, Mr. Scott Schiaffo, thank you so much. Once again, the music you heard underbedding all this and the opener was by Scott Schiaffo. Please go to scottschiaffo.com. Check it out. Buy some of his book. His book is awesome. Let's find some more people. Yeah. Mr. William Grimley, thank you so much for stopping by. Tech Nizzle, good to see you, sir. Mr. Daniel Buckley, good to see you, sir. Hope to see you in person in the near future. Bogard Hum, thank you so much, Bogard Hum, for stopping by. Who else we got here? Justin Franklin, who is very persistent with his question. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Alan Sullivan, photographer extraordinaire. Onyx Phase, thank you. Mr. Bertrand Wong, I will talk to you in just a couple of days. Mr. Troy Burbank, I am sorry, sir. I owe you a script. I owe you a script for a television show that we're working on called On Our Own, being produced by Ernie O'Donnell himself. I can't wait for that to start hitting out there for the people there. Mr. Coop Prime 17, Mr. Rob Akinpour from the A Game with Rob Akinpour. Thank you so much. Mr. Anthony Frischetti, photographer as well, extraordinaire. Thank you so much for joining us. Cripplis, so much. Thank you so much. And for all you fine people, thank you. Have a safe weekend, everybody. Please wash your hands. Wear the mask, socially distance, and remember as well that we are really all in this together. And we are. We're in this together. And especially the people at your grocery stores, the people at the gas station, the people at the convenience stores, the people who have to teach, who have to be teachers and go into school, the nurses, the healthcare workers, the first responders, the dudes that are bringing you your Uber Eats and your Door Dashes and stuff. They're barely getting paid by those companies. So if you can, tip generously. They have bills to make. And also, if you have the ability, please contact your state representative. Let's get this $15 minimum. Now, look, I'm fine with a scaled version of it. It's not going to be within the first year. It's not even going to be within the first 5 years for some, but it's got to be done. Because remember, the federal minimum wage right now, if you worked 40 hours a week for minimum wage, 52 weeks, is just over $15,000 a year. That's horseshit. That's below poverty. No one should work for 40 hours and not make enough to have at least a one-bedroom apartment and to be able to feed themselves. That's all. This is no big socialist scheme that everybody must spread it out. You pay everybody their fair wage. Now, I know some corporations are doing that. Amazon and whatnot have it going on. But then they get you on the other thing where they're not going to pay for your health care. So now that money is going to your health care because we can't have nationalized health care like every other decent Western civilization has. So look, contact your local representative if you can. It'd be great. Be great to not have to worry, to not have to worry about things, because we can do it. We can afford it. Corporations are making trillions of dollars, especially during this pandemic, so we can do it. And I believe in it. And I believe in you. I believe in everything that we all stand for. I love you people. I love the nerd culture. I love that we have this 1 hour. This is a little over now, 1.5 hours to just bullshit, get things off my mind. If anything, get your stuff off your mind. And it's always fun to talk about more than just, fun. We all can make a difference. And if you want, make your own art. Make your own art. If you love cooking, cooking's an art form. Make something of it. If you're a photographer, pick up that camera. I know some of you said you just haven't had the inspiration. Just put it in the car, take it with you, drive around your neighborhood, and just take photographs of some beautiful things around you. Share it. Put it up on your socials. You never know. You never know who you'll inspire. If you're a musician, pick up that instrument or just record yourself singing, lay down some tracks. You might not do anything with it today. You might not do anything with it in a month, but it may inspire you within 3-4 months. You may play it for somebody later on, and they may be inspired, like, ooh, I like this riff. If you're a writer, man, remember these moments. Write it down. Get it out there. Comedians, we had stand-up comics on tonight. Take these funny moments that you can't even make up, like rolling a golden Donald Trump into a conservative convention. Yo, shit writes himself sometimes when it comes to comedy. So, do what you can. Remember it, because it's this is all going to be art, and that's what we live for. Country without art, no country at all. You can have the best army, you could have the best whatever, but if you don't have that creative outlet, there's no identity then, right? That's it. I'm getting off my horse. Just listen to the show. Love you people. All right, I got to get out of here. It sounds like I've been going too much. This is why I have guests, so it's not just me just rambling. Let's go Rangers. They won tonight. Sorry, Boston. What comes around goes around. All right. You guys got to get to your families. You can't just be sitting in front of the computer all the time. Thank you again. If you had a chance, there you go, Wizard World. We'll see you then. Guten Nacht, meine Freundes. Bye-bye.